Hey there, today's video, I just wanted to share with you how I taught my kids to read and just some tips. Recently, I was talking with a couple of moms and I shared with them a couple of things that I did with my kids, and they felt like it would make a huge change for them with their kids in helping them learn how to read and showing them that it's fun. The main point of the video today is to really show you how to approach making reading fun and how to make it feel very easy for your kids, like it's a very natural thing for them, that they just kind of flow into life and that they are smart and that they can do it. So one of the most frustrating things for me when I was young is, I'm following along with my mom's finger and I'm stuck on a word, and just being stuck on that word changes everything. So I feel like for my number one tip for you today is that as you're reading with your kids, just to make it easy and to never stop, to just give them that word, and I'll teach you how to do it. I'm going to walk you through this step by step on why that would make sense, but that's my number one tip, is just making this easy for our kids, making this something that isn't frustrating, that isn't a job to do, that isn't a have to, or an assignment, teaching them that reading is fun. There's a lot that comes out of reading. Just wanted to share with you the tips that came my way when I was teaching my boys to read, and they have all done really well with them. I'm not an expert, and I don't feel like the things that I say are like hard law, but I'm sharing them in hopes that they'll help, and I don't know exactly what your child would need, especially if your child has specific challenges, but I sure hope that something that I share with you today would be helpful and good for you. And that would add to making life a little easier for your child. Because my opinion is that if a child knows how to read, then a lot of things can come very easily to them. If a child is struggling with reading, then math is hard. Everything seems to just be difficult because reading is hard. So I feel like that the one thing that you can give them as their mom or dad, that you can really just give them one of the best gifts, is really helping them in the arena of reading and really giving them a solid base and somewhere to start. So with that said, let's jump into the little tips that I felt like helped me. So on my journey, first, when I first started I had a preschooler, and I picked him up from preschool one day, and his sweet, incredible teacher, Allison Richards, said to me, "I think he's ready to start reading." And I was kind of like, what? Okay. And gratefully, she knew more than I did. And she handed me, it might have just been a bag with a book that kind of looked like this. And she said, just read it with him. And when he can read it, bring it back to me and he'll pass it off. So that's how my journey kind of started. And I'm really very passionate about this. So super exciting for me to share this with you. So I took this book home and read it with my son, and we read it over and over, and we read it until he could pick out every single word and knew the words. To start off, I would say just exposing them to letters at a young age. So we had this little toy that went on the fridge. It was a Leapfrog toy. Love Leapfrog and the products that they make. And it was this little box, and it had like tons of little letters, and you could put the letter in the little box and push on it, and it would say, B says ba, and it would say the letter and the name. And it would sing this cute little song, and then they could interchange another letter and keep going back and forth. And so that really kind of came along, I would say maybe the first year of their life. They were starting to be really exposed, not the first year, when they were 1, that first year from 1 to 2, that toy was really very helpful. It was just there all the time, and they could play with it or not. I mean, it is just giving them a little bit of exposure. So and then just kind of trying to point out letters occasionally, sometimes when it comes up, just naturally, like, yeah, that's letter whatever, or that makes this sound or that sound. And just starting to point those things out to your kids just really helps them. And it's just the tiniest little things that you do that you're not showing them that this is hard or it's something that they're challenged at, and they're excited because yes, you knew that letter, you know, and you just respond to them really excited. So the thing that I really did when I really first started concentrating on letters was I put a bunch of letters out on the carpet, and we would lay down, and I would get a little tiny thing of treats, whatever it is, like little Smarties, little like sweet tart candies or Nerds or something just tiny, just enough to kind of give them to like reinforce, yes, you did a great job. Yes, you did a great job. Here you go. And so I kind of always had that as my little arsenal, like every time that we would lay down and do this, and we'd lay on our bellies, and I cut words out of sandpaper and glued it to foam core. So that's an idea. If you want, you can trace over their letters with your finger, and that kind of gets them ready for writing. But you know what? That isn't really necessary. That's great if you want to do that. But really just getting them some flashcards or a puzzle or blocks, anything that has ABCs on it. And then you ask them, hey, can you find where the A is? And they find the A, and then the B, and you kind of go through the alphabet in order. And as they're finding it, you give them their little reinforcement treats. And just praise. Good job, you did it. And if they don't find it, you find it for them. They don't get a treat, but it's no big deal. You move on to the next one. You don't make the not getting a treat a big deal. It's just that when they get it, they get a treat. And so sometimes you might say, look, this is A, B, and C. And I mean, really, hopefully they've had enough exposure to letters before you start this. That's the idea. So the frequency of when to do this is just whenever it works for you. So if you want to do this every single day, great. If you want to do it twice a week, great. It's just the exposure. So you start with the letters, and then you start mixing it up. Like, hey, can you show me where the T is? How about the D? How about the H? And you start, mixing up the alphabet. And then we move to sounds. So, and you could do sounds first. Some people think that, teaching sounds before the letter name is better. So it doesn't, it's just teaching them. So pull out the letter, what letter says B? And then they pull out the letter B. And can you tell me a word that starts with B? And they say B, ball, and then they get, yes, good job. And you give them a treat.
Tiger.
Good. Can you find the letter that says Now what is a word that starts with
Umbrella.
Good job.
Umbrella.
Good job. Can you find the word that... It's just that constant reinforcement and the praise. And they love it. And it's a game. And it's not work. It's not hard for them. So that's like the best part about it, right? And then you move on. So like moving on would be finding two letters that make a sound. So can you find the word, or can you find the two letters that make the sound ch or sh or ow or ooh? Can you find those letters? And you just start to slowly introduce them that sometimes two letters together make a different sound than what you might think. There was also a little bit of media that I was exposing them to that I felt like was really super helpful. So Leapfrog has lots of videos. I love all their videos, but there were like two videos that I felt like were really, really key. Let's see. So one of them was the one that just taught the letters, the sounds. And it was super key. And like, it was just going on in the background of when I would play this game with them. So like occasionally they would watch it, and it was just part of their day. It wasn't like, oh, now you have to go watch your letter video. It was just, hey, you want to watch Leapfrog? Great, here we go, And then the next video that kind of comes in line is this video that Leapfrog has done where they're starting to glue words together. And they teach you how a vowel is glue. And if you can find the vowels in the words are what make everything stick together. And again, that's another something that you can do when you have all the letters laid out on the ground. You can teach them the vowels. Do you know the vowels are A, E, I, O, U? And once they start to see this video a little bit, they'll go, oh yeah, the letters, the vowels, A, E, I, O, U. So you can say, can you find the A, I, and go through all the vowels, and then you can get to a point where you're just saying, hey, can you find the vowels by yourself? And then they pull the vowels out of all of the letters that are on the ground. And sometimes why, and you teach them all of the different sounds of the letters and why they're the glue. So then you can start pulling out different, like maybe you're laying on the ground one day and now they're ready to start like just spelling some basic words. You know, there's tons of games, there's tons of things that are out there, but this is just something that I did. This is just one thing that I did. There's neat puzzles and awesome stuff, like just tons of great stuff. But just having something that you're doing just a tiny bit every day will make your kids like incredible readers, like really, really quickly. So just a little bit of exposure is so great. So those two media things I feel like going on in the background are fantastic. The other thing about that leapfrog video that I love is they teach this concept of the Ninja E. And the Ninja E helped us so much as we were sitting there with our words and reading, and if they were stuck on a word that had a Ninja E, all I had to do is whisper to them, Ninja E, and they would go, oh yeah, kite, and they would read the word. They would read that word, and so here's what the Ninja E concept is. The Ninja E concept is, you know, and it's so cute. They have the E with like the little ninja mask on, and what the Ninja E does is sometimes it hides on the end of a word, and when it hides on the end of the word, it's silent because it's trying to be sneaky, and it makes the vowel in the word, the other vowel in the word, say its name. So like have, bite, kite, any words that have this Ninja E on the end. And so that was super helpful for me when I was sitting down with my kids trying to go over, you know, the words, and sometimes you just, all you have to do is just whisper Ninja E, and then they're like, oh yeah, and then they can easily get the word. So the Ninja E concept I felt like is really, really helpful. So then also in the background of all of this is read to your kids. Just read them books that they love. Take them to the library. If it's possible for you, get to the library and expose them to lots of different books. And once they are ready and kind of to that point where, oh yeah, we got to do something else first. So after they start to do all those things on the ground and all those, you know, blending that starting to blend the sounds together with some basic words, then you can start some sight words, and you can just buy any pack of sight word, a packet of sight words, like really anywhere, you know, any stores. And then you just kind of hold them, and what I do is I hold the sight words and I put them in piles. So I go, okay, if they get it easy, then I put it on this pile. If they get it, if they struggle with it, then I just help them with it. So, and then I put it over to this side. So you have two different piles, and all the ones that they didn't get, maybe if it's only a few that they get, then stop after they have like 3 or 5 that they did not get. Then you pick up that pile of sight words, and then you go over that with them. You help them through that. You help them through each word. You help them sound it out and go slower. But when you're playing the game, you just do the, did you get it? Did you get it? You know, hat, cat, you know, whatever the words are. And whichever ones they get, they go in a certain piles. Anyway, and then you help them afterwards kind of slow down and go through those words. And then you're working on this packet of sight words, and then quickly those are done. I mean, you are just flying through those words, and they're like, and they just know one after the other. And then the greatest part about it is like, oh my gosh, you are so good. I can't even go as fast as you can say them. And just build their confidence all the way. So once you kind of have sight words down and you've done a little bit of sight word practice, and again, you're reading to them in the background at night. Oh, one cool thing about reading to them at night is, say you're reading a book and you follow along with the words. So like say I'm reading and I say, there are so many new sights and sounds when you go camping. Oof. And you hold your finger as you're reading so that they aren't just looking at the picture anymore. So that's what they maybe used to do. And now they're seeing, oh, those are words, and my mom is reading. Oh, I get it. And their brain starts ticking, and it starts, you know, kind of coming together a little bit faster for them. So, so choose a leveled library book. Once you're done with exposing them to letters and sounds, and they're starting to blend words together, and they know some sight words, then you want to start with like a leveled library. And it doesn't really matter if it's like a bunch of copies of black and white, you know, books like what I did, or you go to the library and you can find like these little I can reads, or like the steps into reading, and I think these are the same people, but anyway, so it just kind of gives you like the number 1, number 2, number 3 steps. The Dick and Jane, those build on each other. The Ricky readers, there's so many things that are out there that you can use for your access to reading, but I recommend finding something that's leveled that you can move through the steps, because they build on each other and they give you a few new words every single time in the next book. So let's say that this is set 2. Let's say that we're on set 2, and you start with the book number 1. So one of the best things to do is, like, say that you know your kid is going to read like through level 1, like no problem, right? So still start there and be like, start with the books and be like, you know, going through them, and then they're just flying through them and there's no issue. And you're like, you are kidding me. You passed this book off the first time? Are you serious? And their face just starts, oh my gosh, I'm doing this. I can do this.
Shoes.
No way. You did it. You did it. You did it. You did it.
I like shoes.
Yes. And they even say it with an exclamation point. That means, yay, I like shoes. I am so proud of you. You did it so good. Okay. Now look at this. You know, you're just kind of using a few tricks to show them, look, you are doing this. And anyway, so then you go to you get to the level where they're at, where a couple words are challenging for them in the book. You know, anywhere from like maybe 2 to 5 words are challenging for them in the book, and you start on that level. So the biggest thing is when you start to read with them, that you set the pace with your finger. So your finger becomes like this pace marker. And so they say, the sun was hot. You turn the page. Mom had a top hat. Mom had a red, and there's a word that they might not know. So there's wig. And they're like, Mom had a red. What? If I feel like if kids take too much time to struggle on one word, they're no longer involved or invested in the story. They're suddenly like, oh yeah, this is hard. I'm not sure why I really want to do this. See ya. And they check out. So to me, I feel like Mom had a red, and give them like just a couple seconds. If they don't get it, say it. Wig. Mom had a red wig. And then you kind of keep a mental note. Oh yeah, wig. Wig was hard for them, so we'll go back to that one. And then you keep going through the whole book, and you get through the whole book, and you might even see the word repeat, which is good, and you help them again or whatever. And then you say, good job. And then you look back through the words that they missed. And you say, you missed wig, or maybe you missed, you know, got, or you missed whatever the word is, and you go through a couple of them. And then you go back and you sound it out. After you have shown them, this is a great story. This is funny. Did you see what happened in the story? This is so cute, you know? And then as you're pointing those words out to them, they're learning those words. And so then you just say, okay, we're done with that book today. We've read it and we reviewed the words you didn't know. Then you move on. You put it away, and then the next day you pull out the same book. And I know that might seem like, oh great, we're pulling out the same book and reading, but the repetition is what's so great for them. Studies have shown, even this is such an interesting thing that I learned when my kids were young and wanted me to read the same book over and over to them, and it felt frustrating. And I learned about this study that said, you know what, if they ask you for the same book over and over again, it's actually really great, because it's helping their brain really, really learn, and repetition is so good for them at young ages. So even though it's annoying to you, you kind of got to get over it and just read it every night to them. Even though, you know, it's for you, like you have it memorized, blah, blah, blah. But you just do it. You just do it for them, for their purpose. So then you just move through like that. And then when you're done with that book and they've passed it off, then you put it in the back. And then you get the next book, and then you keep moving through the leveled library like that. Then you go to the next set. So one thing that I really like about Bob books, that if you see that the illustrations are pretty simple, and I think, you know, you really can't go wrong when you're exposing your kids to reading. But I like that anytime illustrations are simple, because kids have an imagination. They can handle making it bigger and better if they want to. But the biggest reason is that sometimes kids with a good imagination, they will look at the picture and they will say something completely different. Like, Pop got the red wig is what it says, and they'll say, she is combing his hair. And it has absolutely nothing to do with really what the words are saying. So if you find that your child is doing that, just don't feel like it's, or sometimes they get sent home with like a book that says red and they've already colored the page red, you know, so it's a dead giveaway. Those things are dead giveaway. So don't feel, don't let anything stop you from just covering up the page. Cover up the page with something else, a piece of paper or another book. And then once they get the words right, then you move it away and show them the picture. Like, yeah, look, you got the red wig, you know. And so let the picture kind of be a reward if they're struggling with focusing on the words instead of the picture when, you know, when you're starting to sit down and read with them. Then it forces them, and they kind of appreciate it too. I was reading with my niece the other day, and she was doing that, and she really loved it. When I covered the picture and she could just focus on the words, she knew that the picture was distracting to her and she was trying to make up her own story.
In another book.
Oh, no.
No, I'm going to cover this part.
Oh, because you're getting distracted by the picture.
Yeah.
Okay. Distracted by the picture. Okay.
See? Shoes. That. Clap. Go. Clap. Tap. Tap. Tap.
Yes, you did it. Good.
Uh-huh.
Should we cover the picture again?
Yeah.
So you don't get distracted? Okay.
I like shoes. Flippers. I like slippers.
Again? Again, you did it. Flippers and slippers. I really am so proud of you. You're reading the words without looking at the pictures. Give me 5. That is so good. That's your biggest thing to work on, huh? Yeah. Another thing that is really so great about reading with your kids is, you know what? They crave touch, and they crave affection, and they crave, you know, love. So do we. We're human beings. We need to be we need touch, and we need hugs. But I love the part about reading where you can just bring them right in, either on your lap or right next to you, and put your arm around them and hold the book. Or maybe you lay down with them before they're going to bed, and you're holding the book for right there, and you're right there with them. And they crave that. They will love reading even more, because it's not just stimulating for them mentally, but it's also an emotional connection that they are having fulfilled as well. So something else about when you're following along with your hand, just be careful, because you also want to give them enough time without your finger following along and setting the pace, that they can read by themselves, that they don't have to have your finger as a marker. So kind of go back and forth between, you know, setting the pace, and then once they're kind of setting the pace for themselves, maybe step back and then, you know, let them set the pace. And sometimes it just takes also just using your finger just to show them, this is how we read, this is how fast we read, and this is the pace that it takes to be able to understand the story. And if they don't catch on to that right away, it's okay, because you're filling in the blanks and they will catch on. So just periodically use your finger as a pacer, or maybe in the beginning use it all the time, and then let your finger kind of relax for a minute and see how they're doing. And then you can maybe ask them to set the pace with their finger, whatever it kind of feels right. But just don't get them too addicted to having that. Make their eyes be trained on knowing how to follow and read the book. And I'm a firm believer that if you are teaching them to read and they are reading maybe a little bit above their level of their class, I don't believe that you should push your kids beyond what's naturally ready for them. But if you pay attention, they are ready to read before they go to kindergarten. Most kids. I don't want to make that claim. I'm so afraid to make that claim for the parents who might get mad at me. But honestly, I think most kids really are ready before they even hit kindergarten to start being exposed to these things, start being exposed to their sight words. And you know what? When they go to kindergarten, knowing just a tiny bit more than maybe their kid next to them, and they're teaching the kid next to them, they become a leader. They become a leader in life, they become a leader in learning, and they believe in themselves and they have a different confidence level. So I'm really hoping that this video is helpful for you. Would love it. Would love to know if it is. So if it is, then make a comment. I would love to know if this video has helped you or your kids, or especially just helped you at all. Be patient with them as they're reading or as they're learning to read. I would love to know that. Hey everybody, thank you so much for watching. I hope it really helps you. I hope you have a fabulous day, and good job on trying your best at being a parent and trying to help your child.